Welcome to the Respectful Divorce Podcast. If you're considering divorce, it's important to know that you have options for how you divorce. On the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we explore those options and provide advice from divorce professionals. I'm your host, Tim Crouch, and today we're talking with members of the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals. Liz Voss is joining us. She is a collaborative divorce attorney. Murphy Pavone is a divorce financial professional. And then Chanell Smiley is a divorce coach and a mental health professional. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
For having us. Appreciate it.
So my first question to you today is, how did you each get involved in the divorce world, in doing divorce work, and maybe why? And Liz, as the attorney, maybe the best place to start is with you.
So first, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to tell you about our passion for the work that we do. And I will say that I never intended to set out to do divorce work. When I was in law school, it was very much that I was going to do civil rights for sure. And then I took a family law class and was introduced to collaborative divorce and mediation. And it just spoke to me because witnessing my parents' divorce was really instrumental in shaping my entire future. And it was atrocious. So as a child, I saw how terrible it was, then came kind of full circle as an adult when I was in law school and saw, oh my goodness, there's a different way. And it just became my passion. And I just spread the word as much as I can about choosing another way.
Yeah. Melissa, how about you? How'd you get into divorce work?
I was a certified financial planner, and I had clients that were going through divorce. And so I learned about the CDFA and was very interested in it. But I always go back to my why is my mom. I was a child of divorce, and she made a lot of decisions with her heart, and not her head. And what I know now, I wish I knew back then, because the trajectory of her life would have been different financially. And so when I learned about mediation and collaborative, I was just really drawn to it and wanted to be on that path to help people divorce amicably.
And Chanell, how about you? How did you come to this work?
So I met the beautiful Liz and Brittany about 2 or 3 years ago, and they introduced me to collaborative. And I didn't really understand how I played a role into it. But once I started really sitting down with Brittany and Liz and learning more about it and the mental health perspective of it, especially when it comes to the families, right? We don't think about that in the divorce world. We just think about splitting up the assets, but the emotional effects that it had on the children and even the spouses was super important to me. And that's how I became involved.
So then just to kind of continue on that with the collaborative piece, as you see your role in a collaborative case, how do you impact a case?
Because divorce is very emotional, right? And like Melissa said, there's certain things that we should have conversations about the financial piece of it. But it's hard to have those conversations about the financial, about the assets when everybody's reacting out of emotions. So my job is to come in there and let's take the emotions out of it when it comes to the divorce part. And let's deal with the emotions in a different sector, not with the divorce. So I feel like if we're able to take away the emotions and understand that we have to handle the divorce from a financial and with the attorneys, and let us deal with the emotional part, with the kids part from that perspective.
Yeah. And so, Melissa, you're a neutral financial professional. What do you do in a collaborative case?
I really help with the document discovery. A lot of times there is one spouse that I refer to as like the non-CFO spouse. And so I love that in collaborative that we're sharing documents and doing that document discovery together. One, it's more affordable, more efficient with time instead of having two separate people do the document discovery. But as we gather all the information for assets and liabilities, income and expenses, I really help lay it out in a way that everybody is on the same page. And my job is really to educate and empower everyone. So before we make any decisions when it comes to the finances, everybody knows what they own before we go to negotiations. And we talk also about the tax implications of splitting these assets. And oftentimes people just assume it's 50-50 down the middle, and that always isn't the best case. So we come up with some solutions that work best for the family at hand. And in collaborative, it could be very customized based upon the family's needs and their financial situation to come up with a creative solution for them that works well for them. But my job is to really educate around the finances so people understand the long-term consequences.
Yeah. So, Liz, having these neutral professionals as part of the divorce case, how does that begin to change the divorce process itself?
I literally cannot underestimate how tremendously it changes it. When we think about traditional divorce litigation, how it is two attorneys butting heads in court to try to win, to try to get one over on the other side. It's just night and day compared to collaborative when you have somebody like Chanell who is like facilitating conversations and, like she said, taking the emotions and moving them elsewhere. Whereas we don't have to sit there and fight over what you did yesterday and what hurt you caused and all of the blame that's to go around. And there always is, right? There's always the past and the blame and the hurt. But using a facilitator like Chanell who can help navigate those conversations in a way that's forward thinking is tremendous. And we don't have that in litigation. And then somebody like Melissa, who's going to be able to deal with the finances. I mean, I don't know any attorney who's going to tell you that they're comfortable with the finances. And if they do, I don't think that they're being fully truthful. And that's just, I'm calling it what it is. And I've been doing this a long time. But somebody with Melissa's expertise not only has a different perspective and a different lens, she's also working for both of them the same way that Chanell would be doing, in ways that I don't have to sit here and try to, let me double check her work. Let me try to call her out on it. No, she's going to be working for both of them, looking through everything and then giving us the information that we can now assess and give to our clients so that we can help them make a better decision. So having the neutrals is huge. I always say I prefer a collaborative model where the clients are leaning so much more on Chanell and Melissa than me. Come to me almost last, because getting through the emotions, huge. Getting through the finances, also huge. And if there's a parenting plan that Chanell can help with or any of those things, by the time you get to me, now we're going to be talking about how to put that together into a legally binding agreement. It's just absolutely vital to have that.
And I assume that being an attorney in a collaborative case is very different from being an attorney in a traditional divorce in terms of just your approach, right?
It's very, very different. So not only my approach with the other attorney, because the other attorney is not my adversary, right? In the collaborative model, they're our counterpart, but also just our approach with the client, right? Talking about we are really working on full disclosure here. There are things that maybe we can talk about. You know what? Yeah, you want to address your emotions? Let's do that. Let's figure out a way we can connect you with Chanell and you could start doing that. I would never do that in a court case, right? Your emotions, go see your therapist, right? And that's not to be brutal. It's just don't spend my time and money or your time and money on me talking about emotions, where in the collaborative model, we really want to focus on that. Because just like Chanell said at the beginning, once you can peel back the emotions, now we can start getting some real work done. Work with Melissa, work on a parenting plan. Let's move forward. So it's a very, very different approach.
Well, and Chanell, that kind of work translates into a better life after the divorce is over, right?
Yes, because like Liz said, we do eventually connect them to therapy. Like I'm not their therapist. I'm helping them get into that process, but we do eventually connect them to therapy because when it comes to divorce, it's extremely emotional. So we can't even get to Melissa or Liz or have a real logical conversation because what Melissa does is factual. It's not emotional. It's numbers, right? She's running numbers and they don't understand that because they're so emotional. They usually want to hurt the other partner because they're getting a divorce for a reason. So we try to make sure that Melissa's able to do her part to have the facts and talk about the numbers and remove the emotions. And then if afterwards we need to connect them or even their children to therapy, we will do that as well.
And so the numbers part of that, Melissa, I've always gotten the sense that that's where the greatest anxiety really is am I going to be okay after this divorce?
Yeah, I have to agree. That's, the biggest question that we all get asked is, what does this look like on the other side? And the team approach is so vital in providing the emotional, financial, and legal support to get these people on the other side of divorce in, a really respectful manner.
And I will say, as a divorce attorney, that stress that you're talking about with the finances is not just for the parties; it's for the attorneys. We get stressed about it too.
So that the process itself, I think one of the things I've been most intrigued by is the only people making decisions here are the clients. It's nobody is telling them what to do. Am I right on that, Liz?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We do help them create options, right? I mean, sometimes people come in with a very clear idea of where they want to be. You know, one party wants to be in the house, one party travels a lot for work. So maybe it doesn't make sense for them to have custody full time. So they sometimes have a clear idea. Most of the times they really don't. They are so overwhelmed, like Chanell said, emotionally, like Melissa said, financially, that they don't even know where to start. So initially, we really want to just have conversations with them, kind of get to the bottom of what their interests are, what their hopes are for the future. And then if they need, we'll start crafting some solutions, some ideas, some alternatives, and then we guide them to what maybe suits them best. We never make decisions for them, and we don't try to feed them anything that we think, might suit one over the other. Absolutely not. We're really there for the family, for the future. Even though as an attorney, I'm representing one party, we are seeing it in a holistic manner where we want to make sure that everybody's succeeding in the future. Because if my client, wins, those sort of air quotes there, in a collaborative case, then everybody loses. We're not helping that family.
Yeah. And I would assume that part of representing someone sometimes is saying, you can do this, but
all the time in litigation as well, for sure. But definitely in collaborative. Yeah, that you can do this, but meaning that there will be long-term consequences for that. And that might include, right, whether it's financial, whether it's something that has to do with finances that might not work for you in the future, or honestly, maybe it's just something that's not going to be best for your family down the road because Chanell sees something that, oh, you know what, the kids are sort of having issues here. They might need some therapy down the road. Maybe there's really a lot of high conflict between the couples, and maybe the way they communicate should not be the traditional way. Sometimes you have clients who are like, no, we'll be okay. Right. It's our job to just let them know, here's a path that might be better for you. But again, it's self-determination. They get to decide that.
So through the years, as you all have done this, how have you seen collaborative make a difference in your clients' lives versus if they'd have gone through that litigation route? And Melissa, I'll let you start on that.
Well, I think that the individuals are able to divorce in a more timely fashion and definitely more inexpensive than traditional divorce. So we tried to be very efficient, having the neutrals there and having, not threatening that we're going to court. So I feel that it's definitely more efficient with both our time and our money, and it's more respectful. They come out on the other end. Divorce is not pretty, right? We all know that, but they come out on the other side and they're not hating one another, and they're not hating the other person's attorney, right? So where there's a sense of relief when it's over, but there's not that grudge or hatred that we see a lot in litigation.
Well, Chanell, how have you seen it make a difference?
I think the clients actually feel heard. There's a level of empathy that when you're going through a traditional divorce that they don't receive. So I think that they're able to feel heard. Well, let's say if they're coming in and said, I think he should pay $20,000 a month in child support. It's like, let me explain to you why that's not going to happen. Melissa's going to educate you on that, and you're acting out of emotions. Let's be realistic. But they feel heard versus just feeling like they're being shut down.
And Liz, what about you?
That's huge, because I think that people have this misconception that they're going to come into court and they're going to say, you know why I'm entitled to that $20,000 a month? Because X, Y, and Z, and my dirty dog of an ex did X, Y, and Z to me. That's not how it works, right? So in the collaborative model, being able to hear them, validate their feelings, and let them know that it's going to be okay, and we're going to get over this hump. We're going to hear you, and we're going to get over that hump, and we're going to help you create a new future. That's huge. And I really think that makes such a huge impact in people's lives in ways that if you don't get the option, right, you don't get the ability to choose both options and then kind of see which one's better. That's not how life works. But people who have done it, they have said like, wow, I've heard horror stories from my neighbors, my friends, my family members who went through court. That's not what we went through, right? You actually heard me. You listened to me. The team listened to me, supported me. It's just really, really very very, very different, holistic, and really meaningful.
So this is the Respectful Divorce Podcast, and Melissa kind of touched on respectful a moment ago. What does respect in a divorce look like, Liz?
So respect in a divorce is really very specific to the family, right? But respecting their future needs, their interests, their goals, and respecting their family. Every family is unique and they all look different, have different needs in the future. And, in court, when things are very cookie cutter, right? So here's a couple with 2 children. We're going to resolve the issues this way. Us being respectful of them is saying, okay, maybe that's not the way. What's the best way for you? What makes the most sense for your family? We want to respect and honor your needs and your family's needs.
Yeah. Melissa, what does respect look like in your view?
I think it's really looking holistically at the financial picture and saying this is the, joint pot of assets. These are our liabilities. These are our, income. This is our expenses, and what that looks like for 2 households now instead of 1, with the goal in mind being that everyone's okay after the fact, and making sure that everybody's needs are met and that it's fair and equitable and that there's no hidden surprises, right? Everyone knows what they're getting post-divorce and what that means for them when it comes to now becoming single and having, filing married single and not having dual incomes.
And Chanell, what does respect look like from your perspective?
Letting each party know they're going to heal from this. I think, like once again, I said, given that empathy and that understanding that this is a very difficult time that you're going through, but because we're providing that team approach, you're going to heal from this and you're going to be okay.
And is there a part of that that's also emerging with your self-respect intact?
Yes, absolutely. Learning more about yourself so that you can avoid this happening in the future.
Yeah. So y'all are members of the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals Group. What is that group? What can you all tell me about that?
I love talking about the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals. We are a group of interdisciplinary professionals, just like we are here, right? The attorneys, the mental health professionals, and the financial professionals, all dedicated to providing the absolute best services and keeping couples out of court when it comes to getting divorced. Our focus is on, building awareness about your options and making sure that not only do other professionals know that they can choose this way too, right? You don't have to run to court and litigate if you're an attorney, but also that Long Island families know that they have options and they don't have to just go and hire the biggest litigator to go to court to cost them, tens of thousands of dollars in time and money. They really have options where they can pick and choose the best team out of all of our professionals who are absolutely top notch.
And so the professionals are all listed on your website, right?
Everyone's listed on our website. Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone wants to get in touch with any of y'all, what's the best way to do that? Melissa?
Our website is licdp.com. You can fill out the contact form there, and one of the professionals will get back to you. We are obviously offering free consultations, being that we are participants in Divorce with Respect Week. In addition, we decided as a collaborative team to extend that for the whole month of March.
Okay. That's great news, and we'll want to make sure we share that with more people. But if someone wants to learn more about you in particular, Melissa, what is your website? What's your best contact method?
Mine is Mindful Divorce Partners, and my phone number is 631-903-8282. And you can find me on LinkedIn or mindfuldivorcepartners.com.
And Chanell, best way to get a hold of you?
My website is Keep Smiling Therapy. You can email us at info@keepsmilingtherapy.com, or you can call us at 631-505-2961.
And Liz, the best way to get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of us is visiting our website, vazlaw.com, or you can email me directly, e.vaz@vazlaw.com. And I will also say that we have a YouTube channel, Divorce Den, and Divorce Den is trying to just like you're doing, destigmatize divorce and teach people that there is a way to do this respectfully.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to put links to websites and all of that information in the show notes. We do appreciate your being part of the Respectful Divorce podcast today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This important programming note, Divorce with Respect Week is March 3rd through 9th. During Divorce with Respect Week, you can talk with lawyers, divorce coaches, divorce financial experts for free to learn more about the divorce process and your options. And of course, Divorce with Respect Week extends throughout the month of March for members of the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals. Simply go to divorcewithrespectweek.com to find professionals near you. That's divorcewithrespectweek.com. I'm Tim Crouch, reminding you that collaborative divorce is a better way to untie the knot.